Welcome to Tapalpa, Mexico, and occasionally the place where we spend the night in our van there. After recovering from our illness in Colima, we moved north to Tapalpa, which is one of the 111 magical towns or pueblos magicos, as they are called in Mexico. Enjoying a higher elevation than Colima, we took the jumpers out, and the boys were so happy to explore the town by foot and to be able to play with their car toys. Look at Tom jumping around. After being ill for a week, it was really nice to regain our freedom of movements and discover a new place. And Tapalpa is super laid back with a couple of places where there's no cars, so it was perfect for kids. Whilst there, we didn't do anything special besides just walking around, taking the time for the kids to play, discovering the local churches that were really stunning, and just enjoying our time. One of the things we love the most about slow traveling is having time. Having time to mingle with the locals, to discover local foods, and get lost in streets. And it's so interesting to see locals still wondering what are they looking at, and not realizing that for us, everything there is special. And driving a little bit further north, we arrived in Guadalajara, the second largest city of the country. And we could definitely take the jumpers off because it was really hot. Guadalajara is a busy town. There's people everywhere, and there's a good reason for that. There's so many places to check out, there's a lot of culture, there's so many cool places. But for us, it meant no more quiet streets where we could spend the night quietly, incognito. We had to spend the night in the 24/7 guarded parking lots that allowed us to sleep in the vehicle. The main reasons we came here was there's an amazing old hospital that has been turned into a museum, but it was closed on that day. And because we were on a really tight schedule, we explored the town by foot, which is pretty much what we do best.
Eli, va dans le bus, vite!
Welcome to Guanajuato, an amazing UNESCO city that is just a couple of hours east of Guadalajara, a little bit north of San Miguel de Allende. It is an amazing city with so many colors, so many things to see that we really fell in love with this place. If you ask the boys what they remember best from that place, it's probably the pigeons. It's at this point in our trip where they started to go mental about pigeons, which was funny, but at some points a little bit too much. But anyways, let's keep going. A little later on that day, we took a cable car that would take us up a mountain, offering us amazing views over the city. But for the boys, it was all about the ride. We didn't come up there just for the view, but there's something very special in Guanajuato, which is a museum of mummies. Not mothers, but mummies, the other ones. We didn't know whether to take the boys there, but some locals told us that it was okay, so we gave it a go. And we weren't disappointed, but we were out within probably 2 minutes, because the boys didn't like it too much. No harm done, they weren't traumatized, but they just didn't like it. So we kept exploring by foot, and there was plenty to do anyway. And because it was almost lunchtime, I started to get hungry, so we headed to the local markets, the main one in the city center, which was a fantastic experience. There were so many shops with different types of food and different types of toys and stuff that they were selling that it was just mesmerizing to observe people going about.
Hey guys, so we are in Guanajuato in Mexico. It is a beautiful city. It's really amazing. The architecture, the colors. We talked about with Czech the fact that often beauty is associated with their symmetry, but here everything is kind of a misfit. Every house is of different color than its neighbors. And it's really a place that has a great vibe. You can see that people take the time to enjoy life, sit at the park, drink coffee. It reminds us a lot of Italy. There's this kind of feel of an old place with a lot of history. And there's so many tunnels everywhere where you can go by car, by foot. So it's just an outstanding place, really. One thing that is interesting today is Elliot is full force into the opposition stage of what is called the Terrible Twos, and I think it extends to Terrible Threes, so we're not done yet after he turned 3. And it's one of the realities of traveling with kids. It's really challenging sometimes when you've got to fight for everything. From the moment where when he wakes up and you want to dress him up, he doesn't want to dress up. You put in sockets on and he wants to take them out right away and screams because he can feel the place where they were sewed. And then you try to put the pants on and he takes them off, and he's screaming and he's moving around. And so this morning it took us about an hour to literally dress him and leave the van, and it's just exhausting. And I was comparing this to, you know, a drop of water that falls every day on the same spot on a stone. However strong the stone is, it carves a hole, and at some point it's just, even if you, with the best intentions, it hits you. It's, you know, it's very hard to be detached and not to feel angry with this. It's one of the realities of traveling with kids is, I think, is amazing. I mean, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't do it differently. But it's true that when you live in a small place, it can be extremely hard to manage your emotions, especially if you're a little bit choleric like me. It's very hard to manage your emotions and to make sure that everybody's having a good time, to calm yourself down. So hopefully we'll find ways to outsmart Elliot and not to take it too personally and let these feelings go away. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because that's real life. It's not all about, you know, the nice exotic pictures you see on Instagram and everything, but there's a real element of challenge when you travel with kids, and it's as rewarding as challenging. So don't get discouraged by that. It's absolutely worth it. It is, but get ready and find a way to deal with it, whether it's red wine or whatever it is, but you've got to find your own ways. So waiting for the bus right in the tunnels, so it's quite a funny experience. Kids are really excited.
And taking the local bus, the local chicken bus, like the locals, is the way to explore the city. It takes you through so many tunnels, so many back roads, into the city center. It's really fun, and the boys loved it. Since leaving Baja, Guanajuato probably is the place that made the biggest impression on us. There's so much beauty, so many colors. It was really great to be there. But we had to keep going because in a couple of days we would meet old friends. But stay tuned, coming up next, San Miguel de Allende and Querétaro.